How Nas Daily lost 90% of his audience in just 1 year. Nas Daily was once a global content darling, preaching positivity, traveling the world, and telling one-minute stories that millions adored. But in just over a year, he managed to lose 90% of his audience. What's wild is how avoidable it all was. Because the downfall didn't start with one massive scandal, it started when people realized how different Nas was off camera. It all began back in 2021, when Nas traveled to the Philippines to film a feel-good video with Luis Mabulo, a young entrepreneur running a sustainable cocoa farming project. The video itself seemed harmless. But what Luis posted afterward was career-ending. She claimed Nas and his team mocked the Filipino accent, said it sounded stupid, and belittled the people by saying things like, "Why are Filipinos so poor?" and "No one wants to hear about farmers, it's not clickable or viewable content." In other words, he wasn't there to help. He was there to harvest views. She added that he didn't care about shedding light on real issues, just what looked good on camera. Viewers were shocked. Nas, the guy who preached global unity, was now being called a racist clout chaser. His reply? He denied everything and called her a fraud. But by that point, the damage was done. The narrative had taken root. And things only got worse from there. Shortly after, Nas faced another firestorm, again, in the Philippines. This time, it involved Apo Wengodi, the legendary 103-year-old tattoo artist who still practices traditional hand-tap tattooing. Nas uploaded a video about her, praising her legacy. But in the video's description, it said she had created a tattoo course with Nas Academy. That raised eyebrows, especially after Wengodi's granddaughter came forward, calling it a scam, saying her grandmother never signed any contract. She begged people to help stop the exploitation of their culture. Nas responded fast. He showed video proof of Wengodi placing her thumbprint on the agreement and insisted that her niece had translated the contract and given full consent. But the granddaughter wasn't buying it. She doubled down, saying their family and culture were being used to profit a foreigner. It escalated to the point that the Philippine government got involved. You know you've messed up when a nation's officials start looking into your content. And it didn't stop there. Viewers began to notice a pattern. Nas was always at the center of a controversy, always defending himself, always shifting blame. Then came the bizarre Twitter challenge. A rival creator, called out Nas publicly. Nas agreed to debate him in Dubai. But when they sat down, Nas launched personal attacks instead of addressing real issues. The comments under that video said it all. He had millions more followers, but none of that mattered when your argument is built on ego. As one commenter put it, having more followers doesn't mean you're right. It means you're louder. Even politicians weren't safe from Nas's behavior. During an interview with the Prime Minister of Luxembourg, Nas made snide comments and ego-driven jabs, but reassured him afterward that everything was fine. Yeah, sure it was. And then came the crypto mess. In 2022, Nas uploaded a video praising CZ, the founder of Binance, calling him the humblest billionaire who lived modestly and was changing the world. Sounds inspirational, until you realize it was basically an ad. Worse, Nas later posted a glowing profile on Sam Bankman-Fried, the FTX founder who turned out to be one of the biggest frauds in modern history. Sam is 29 and has $22 billion. He wants to donate it all to charity, Nas said. Fast forward, Sam is now facing up to 25 years in prison for fraud and money laundering. At first, people gave Nas the benefit of the doubt. But then came the podcast slip-up. In it, Nas casually admitted that some of the characters in his videos are paid sponsorships. When asked if he discloses that, he dodged. "We don't live in America, so, no." He said maybe 3% of content is paid, but never directly mentioned it in the videos. That's not just misleading, it's deceptive. Viewers now had to ask, are these even real stories, or just glorified brand deals? And just when people thought things couldn't get more hypocritical, Nas got involved in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Born in Israel but of Palestinian descent, Nas tried to play the peacemaker. He uploaded a video saying he didn't want to take sides. That sounds great, except people unearthed an old tweet where he literally said, Israeli first, Palestinian second. Now, the issue isn't what side he takes. It's the fact that he lies to his audience while claiming neutrality. He says he wants peace while making divisive statements and mocking Islamic customs. And speaking of mocking Islam, he really crossed the line when he uploaded a video titled, I lost my hair studying Islam for a month. The problem? He didn't lose his hair. He shaved it. Muslims shave their heads after pilgrimage, it's a sacred act. To equate that with reading a few books and calling it a stunt? That's not inspiration, it's tone-deaf disrespect. As backlash exploded, Nas tried to calm the storm by uploading a clarification video. In it, he brought in two of his own employees to defend him. One of them, Nuzer's team member, made a wild claim that it wasn't the tattoo artist who had an issue, it was just her cousin, who wasn't part of the deal and felt left out. You know, jealousy. As for the crypto mess? They brushed it off. The world's top investors also gave money to these guys, one team member said. Even governments didn't know they were scammers. So somehow, Nas is the victim now? The logic was laughable, basically saying, it's not our fault we didn't vet our billionaires. Then came the final nail, another attempt to defend his stance on Israel and Palestine. Nas posted that he promotes optimism, nuance, and peaceful coexistence. That sounds noble, until you remember the old tweets, the contradictions, and the fact that he's built a brand on selectively telling stories that suit him. He said people misunderstood him because he wasn't politically correct. No, the truth is that people finally saw through the facade. So how did Nas Daily lose 90% of his audience? Because viewers got tired of the hypocrisy, the exploitation, the selective storytelling, and the refusal to just say, I messed up. Instead of evolving, he kept dodging accountability. From mocking locals and selling cultural courses without proper consent, to glamorizing crypto fraudsters and disrespecting religious traditions, Nas Daily didn't just fall off. He crashed, hard. And the worst part? It didn't have to be this way. So what do you think? Is Nas Daily just misunderstood, or did he finally get exposed by the very audience he built? Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.